We're going to start with revising the basics of the carbon cycle. So on your screen is an image of a landscape system. What I'd like you to do with the person next to you is see if you can name the 5 major stores of carbon. Once you've done that, I'd like you to name any of the ways you can think of that carbon is transferred between or within these stores. So hopefully you have identified the 5 major stores. The atmosphere is one of the major stores. The hydrosphere, so water on land or in the oceans. The lithosphere, so carbon that's stored in the rock or in the earth. The biosphere, so that might include plants and animal matter, both dead and alive. And the cryosphere, so in ice caps and ice glaciers across the world. So how about the links between them? So you might have come up with quite a few different ideas here. We're just going to go through some of them that you might have come up with. So one might be between the atmosphere and the biosphere, so photosynthesis. Another option you might have come up with, the lithosphere and the hydrosphere. So erosion of that material is going to transport it, potentially into a body of water. It might wash up elsewhere, so it might not end up in water as sort of for good. Now, for the biosphere, if we have any fires, the combustion is going to release carbon into the atmosphere. And then you might have started to think, actually, there's some cycles within some of those stores. So decomposition within the biosphere is going to cycle carbon within that local area. Now, focusing in further, we're going to have a look at the biosphere. And the biosphere, as one of the largest stores, has its own subsystems as well. So subsystems have their own inputs, stores and outputs. And they're either net carbon sinks or net carbon sources. So I'd like you to identify the outputs, inputs and stores for the biosphere. So 2 minutes to work on this on your own, and then you're going to pair up with someone else and see if you can add anything to each other's list. So you've got space on your handouts to add these onto that table. So hopefully you've come up with some inputs, outputs and some stores. There'll be more than what I go through here, but some of them you might have come up with. Add them to your list if you don't have them already. So photosynthesis is bringing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Weathering is removing carbon from the lithosphere and moving it into the soils. Some of the stores we might have within vegetation, within animals, within soils, and decomposing matter as well. Some of our outputs, so respiration of plant matter and living things as well, living animals, will move CO2 to the atmosphere. Decomposition will move carbon to the atmosphere as well. Combustion by fire, again to the atmosphere. And erosion doesn't just happen to the lithosphere, so erosion could happen on organic matter as well, and that might move it to the hydrosphere.